Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? What are some things that men can be doing today, like literally starting right now, to step into that place of being a man of value for themselves first?
I think the first and the foremost is to give yourself a break. Allow yourself that not everything has to be perfect. And I think it's as well. It's focusing. There's a term called the spotlight effect, and and then we all fall into this. If you ever remember walking down the street and across the street, you notice somebody's waving at you, and you kind of, I've never seen this person. Well, you start to look around and you don't know, and then this person starts walking towards you, and you kind of, you must be knowing someone. You put your hand up, but then this person walks past you, and you don't like you're like, oh shit! Everybody saw me, and I look like a fool. But in the reality, most likely, nobody noticed. But you're just so focused on everybody's looking at me. It's like when you go into a nightclub and you stand in the middle of a dance floor. It's like everybody's looking at me, and it's that kind of focus that we sometimes are just so worried about what other people are thinking that we don't really realize they have their own struggles. They're not really just focusing on you. And it's about being able to manage that expectation of it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be a little foolish now and then. The world is not going to end. What is the worst thing that come out of it? Okay, your feelings got hurt for like a minute, and then you're fine. And for me, it's being able to just step back from that situation, give it a breather, and it's never as bad as it is. And there's always a silver lining. Because I remember when I went through my divorce, and as I mentioned before, my role model as a married for marriage was my parents. And I've been married almost 60 years, actually
Mhm.
60 years next year. So it was a devastating for me that I was getting divorced. And in my mind, the marriage wasn't that horrible. So I was distraught. I just couldn't believe this was happening to me. And then I just gave myself a little break, and then it kind of came a little bit as I started to talk to my friends and family as I went through this, and they were kind of pointing out to me maybe the marriage wasn't that great. There was problems here and there, and then I started, as I said, stepped back and started to looking for the silver lining. And I think that's one of my deepest kind of um, realization out of going through my marriage was even if the things are so bad, there's always something positive out of it. And now in hindsight, I'm actually getting married next week
Oh,
uh, um,
amazing.
found a new amazing person, and it's 6 years plus minus that I got divorced, and I can't wait to get married again. And and it's just having that focus of not always beating yourself up, and just step back, give yourself a breather. You don't always have to be that perfect person, and
Mhm.
just be that vulnerability, and as well. And I mean, a lot of people say like, and I jokingly have a favorite term. Sometimes I say, just suck it up. But suck it up doesn't really help you.
Mhm.
And it's about finding either work on yourself. It also, as well, it's very important you take responsibility and stop blaming other people for whatever happened, because it takes two. And if you do not take responsibility what your situation is in, it will not lead you into anything to learn from. You won't see that silver lining, and you won't learn from it. Because in my mind is that there's always experience that you can learn from. Because I feel like what I learn when I learn something the best is when I fail. And so we shouldn't be afraid of failure. And I think our society is very focused on creating champions that aren't really champions.
Mhm.
Like people are talking about, like when you have kids and everybody gets a medal. Okay, yeah, I mean that's nice, but it doesn't really give you a true reflection of what life is about. And it's okay to have a little bit of competitiveness, but at the same time, it is okay to fail, because if you don't fail, you don't improve.
Mm.
And so for me, it's about taking responsibility and be okay with that occasional embarrassment moment, that just move on.